I'm Rabbi Schaff. Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Matthew.
Matthew. This is for you. So what do you say? You must see Jews around. You must see them in the news. What you got to ask me something. Like what's?
Yeah. So who did it?
9/11.
That's a really good question.
Is it you guys or was the Arabs?
It was the Arabs. Who of the Middle East?
The truth is, I have no idea. I know who seems to have flown the planes. Do you think those were Israelis?
Hey,
It's a fair question. I'm not
speaking on this.
You could tell me it was my own
Yeah,
family.
Johnny,
I
you
wouldn't be mad at you.
I'm holding the mic.
Listen,
He knows a lot about this.
thank you for being my mic guy, by the way. You seem pretty awesome.
I think the guys were Arab, but like it was orchestrated by the Israelis
Now, why do you think Israelis would want to do that?
to like cause conflict, you know? So like investors, they can make money off the war.
I hear you. Listen, I don't know who did it, but I'm interested in this question. Here's my question for you. When you said "you guys," I mean, I'm not Israeli. Do you understand what I mean? I'm American. I was born in Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles. So I am Jewish, and I feel an ancestral connection to the land of Israel, right? Where, like in our religion, every time we pray, we face Jerusalem, right? Like that's a big part of our religion. People around the world are hating Jews for things that they're upset at Israel for.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
No.
I feel like you accidentally fell into that trap. Do you know what I mean? When you said to me that you guys do 9/11
You guys are saying like
as my religion.
Like Israel, yeah.
But in other words, if you met a, it's interesting, right? It's an interesting thing that the Jews around the world are suffering now because a Jewish student who goes to Columbia, who's never been to Israel, who doesn't know anybody in Israel, is likely to get beaten up trying to go to class because they're Jewish. No, that's happened many times. Yeah. And they were blocked out of classes. There's lawsuits in UCLA because Jews were told you're not safe on campus by the university, which is like, what's that have to do with Jews? Like, if you're a member of the IDF, then we can argue, is it a just war, what's going on in Gaza? You understand? What do you think about that? Would you say categorically that that's totally off? That even if the Israeli government, and you accept like what I consider a conspiracy theory, but not every conspiracy theory is necessarily wrong. You know, I really don't think the Israelis did it. I want you to know something. There is a prayer called Slichot that Ashkenazic Jews and Sephardic Jews both do before morning services leading up to Rosh Hashanah. That's every day, and it causes prayers to be about 20 minutes longer. The observant Jews who worked in the Twin Towers were almost all 20 minutes late that whole week. So people say, but it's only the religious ones who go to prayer services every morning. Now, that was a mistake in planning if the goal was to get Jews, because they would have known every year it was that way. But people saying the Jews in the building were tipped off, it's a terrible misunderstanding. Jews all around the world, and you can look this up, go to Slichot on the month before Rosh Hashanah or the week before, depending on their custom. And this was the week before. And then after Rosh, or maybe it was after Rosh Hashanah? I forget if it was before or after, but it goes till Yom Kippur. I mean, that's an important piece of cultural information to know. Is there any other proof that you have or that you've seen? Because it sounds like you know a lot about this.
Like,
grab that mic so we...
Wasn't there like a few Israelis that took pictures at the towers, like right before it like happened?
Is that true?
Yeah.
More Israelis than other people?
No, like right before it happened, they were like at a van and like that one. Yeah.
Where do you know that from? That's interesting to me.
I read about it like a while ago.
Do you also think that that the United States was behind it too?
Yeah. I think the United States was behind a lot of things, like the MLK assassination.
Didn't they declassify all the papers?
No, that was for JFK, but I'm talking about...
No, but he also said also Martin Luther King.
Oh, Martin Luther. I haven't read the declassified MLK papers, so...
Interesting. I guess we're going to find out. Why did they want to kill MLK?
Like, they thought he was a communist. And,
but they didn't want to kill... They were killing communists?
Like, the FBI, they sent a letter to him, like, telling him to kill himself. Yeah, hold on. I think I can pull it up. Wait.
You have the original picture of the letter? So what else? What else? Tell me more. It's okay. Listen, anybody watching this can Google that and just type in letter from the FBI.
Yeah.
So what does that mean to you? Do you like then that Trump is trying to clear out the swamp and release things?
Nah, I don't think Trump's a good president.
But do you like that?
What?
What he's doing?
Yeah.
Releasing files? You say yes. Do you say
I
yes?
think that releasing files is a pretty
I
good
mean, it
thing.
sounds like he's getting through a lot of this swamp and saying, why is money going here? Why is money going there?
Yeah.
That part's good, right?
Yeah.
What are the things you don't like?
Things I don't like.
Him flattening Palestine or like Gaza.
Did he? Well, I mean, he didn't.
Hmm?
He didn't. It's not American planes doing that.
Well, I mean, he said before
That he supports it.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything? By the way,
Fine.
you know,
Fine, Gaza.
you probably understand that the people in Gaza are expressing resistance. Is that right? Is there anything when you're doing resistance? Is there anything you can't do? In other words, should I go home and tell my children today and say, listen, children, if you're walking in the supermarket and somebody brutally rapes and murders you, that's what you have to accept. It's resistance. Should I tell that to my children?
No.
No, but we're Jews living in America. I mean, are we fair game?
No.
What if we visit Tel Aviv? Should I tell my children if somebody just decides to rape you in front of your mother and then murder you and kill your siblings, that's legitimate because resistance? Or should I say I will do anything in my power to protect you from that?
Yeah.
You would say that.
Yeah.
So you see why this is a big problem. Because October 7th was unbelievable. And they live streamed it. There's no way. They were wearing GoPros and they announce it and you'll have people out there saying, they didn't rape. So like, yes, we did. In the name of Allah. They're saying they did it. I mean, that's true, right?
Yeah.
They're announcing it and they videoed it. And we have more evidence for that than we do probably of anything in the last 100 years. So don't we need to, and they're saying we'll do it again as many times as we can. They're saying that. So even if their cause is right, is there a point when going into kindergarten and just raping and killing that you could say it's for sure wrong 100% of the time, even if you're the resistance? Do you think there's any hope? I look at you guys, I have no hatred for you. I think you seem like nice people. You're probably good to you will be good to your children and wives and parents and live a good, right? When you look at Jews like me or others, do you see a similar thing? Do you see these are decent people who want good for the world?
Yeah.
When you look at Americans, do you see that? Even Trump supporters? Or do you see like...
Yeah, of course.
So that's what I'm wondering. In other words, if the government of Israel or the government of your country that you're living in, United States, are you guys are citizens?
Yeah.
It sounds like you're not pleased with every choice they make and you even think there might be conspiracies, right? But the people are us.
Yeah.
Do you think we can love each other and get along and not kill anybody?
Yeah.
So what's a path to that in the Middle East? What's a story? If the Israelis put down all their weapons tomorrow and just stopped, what would happen to them?
Peace.
Do you think that?
Yeah.
Do you don't think the Hamas would come in and do the
No.
October 7th?
No.
Well, so I'm convinced that if we put down our weapons, right, as an Israeli country, right, and I'll say we, that we would all be killed. I'm convinced of it, and every geopolitical expert in the world says that. I'm convinced that I'm convinced of this, that if the Palestinians all said, we made a mistake, we don't believe in jihad, we don't believe in killing all Jews, we want to live at peace, that we would go and hug them. I'm convinced of that.
Kill Hamas and
It's very difficult because they keep electing more and more. We keep killing everyone from Hamas and they just keep finding more people. The Palestinian people are largely, they voted for Hamas, they believe in this. As soon as I saw protests this week though, of some people going in the street and saying no. That's good. That's very encouraging. Hamas was voted in by the majority. It's a big problem. I just want to say this, honestly. You guys seem like good people, and I believe that the majority of the human race is good people. And you should just know that there's nice people on all sides. And is that a fair thing to say? Okay, you guys are the best. You got to move on to the next one. I'm going to shake your hand also. I don't think it's true. Israel didn't do it, by the way. It's just not true.